Let's talk about it, Boulder.
Happy and elated about everything, and especially this opportunity that I have to coach these young men.
Of course, we got our guy Dukes the Scoop in. We got to chop it up, man. It's fall camp. It started. We had the great news from Coach Prime earlier this week. Man, I'm excited. So I had to read my guy Dukes in to chop it up. What's going on with you, bro?
And I'm good, man. Blessed to be here, my brother.
Hell yeah, I'm blessed too, man. Get you on here, man. It's been a trying week. Like, I know you had Deion Sanders Jr., aka Bucky, on last week or so, right? And of course, the topic of conversation popped up was about Coach Prime. And I love how you started that bad boy and said, look, we ain't talking about that. Just understand, guy is good. We ain't gonna talk about that. But then he came out and gave us the whole spiel on bladder cancer, having the bladder removed, and of course he made jokes and everything, which is so Prime. That's 100% Deion Sanders, dog. Yeah. He made the jokes, he made light of it, but he reminded everybody to get checked up, man. So give us some of y'all feelings, man. And now this processed over the last day or so, dog. How you feeling about that whole scenario now that it's out in the open?
Man, I just feel like sometimes we don't get to see Superman put the cape on. Sometimes we just hear about Superman. And I think yesterday we were able to see Superman put the cape on. Like, we hear about Deion Sanders and Coach Prime and all of that, and we remember what he did, all his exploits on the field, and sometimes we forget about people being superhuman. And I think that's one of those things that, I feel like anybody that beats cancer is superhuman, not just Coach Prime. But there are times where we just think about him in one light and we forget that he had his ability to put the cape on too. So I think him revealing that while the draft was going on, he never told Shador, holding that to himself through that process. I think also just, making a decision to get the bladder removed so he could be back, for fall camp. I just think in multiple ways he put that cape on and was able to show that he's that guy on and off the field, and the confidence and his faith that he usually leads with is the real deal, and they just talk. So I think, and it doesn't have to be Deion Sanders, and I think that was the most important part, that he let everybody know, like, look, what I just did, you don't have to run a 4.240. You don't have to be the best cornerback in the history of the game. You can just be somebody with some will and some fight and some want to, and that'll get you over the edge. And I think that's get you over the top. And I think that's what Coach Prime did.
Yeah, man, that's probably the story of all of it, is that he showed us a vulnerable side. Like, you had retweeted an article by Chris Marler over there at LouisianaSports.net, and I love that article. I went through and read it, and he basically pointed out that Coach Prime gave us some really good news that really would resonate with everybody. Mm-hmm. And he did it in the way that Deion Sanders would do it. I was chopping up with the cat, and a few people were kind of wondering, like, why does Prime need to do why does he need to do a press conference? Why has he got to talk about it? Why has he got to do all of this and that? And I'm just like, there's a few things we forget. One, Prime's been in the public eye forever. Secondly, as I was thinking about it, I realized why we're so invested in, like, Shador and Shiloh. Remember Deion Sanders' Playbook TV show back in 2014? Mm-hmm. We watched them kids grow up. Mm-hmm. We kind of invested in their lives like that. We've been a part of their world since they were little. So for us, that was 10 years ago. So, that's 11-year-old, 13-year-old Shiloh and Shador. So yeah, we've been so ingrained in their lifestyle, even though that show was only for like 2 years. They were part of us. That was a part of our day-to-day. So him doing that was really a service to everybody, because no matter what, the speculations are going to come out. I've seen people talk about that, he's going to retire and all of that. I'm just like, nah, I had to put a video on that and say, based upon the people I've talked to, that's not the case, but he's going to do it his way. Give him his time. But I'm glad that he's made his return. I guess you could say perfect timing, because he did it right before fall camp, and now we can just talk about football. He basically said, "I'm gonna give you your off topic content right now. Let's knock this out for 45 minutes. But now that we're done, football going forward.
Yep.
And that's where we're at now, Dukes. It's football time.
Absolutely. He stood in the pocket, delivered, and now he's on to the next play. And that, just to use another football analogy, and that's kind of what it is. And I think he quarterbacked that whole process perfectly by being able to share a little without sharing it all, but not having to. If this happens at the beginning of the summer, then he's the talk of the summer. If he does this, is he going to coach? Is he not going to coach? But by him doing it when he did it, he was able to quell all of those concerns. He was able to answer the questions, not with talking through them, but he actually put some action behind it. And you could tell there, you can tell he's been sick. Like, it ain't no question about it. Everybody knew something was wrong with Coach Prime. And to the people who felt like, oh, well, why does he have to do a press conference? I mean, those people are going to complain about everything.
Yeah,
sometimes I just try to consider the source, because if people got it, Coach Brown wouldn't have as many haters if people understood. And a lot, sometimes people are like, oh, well, Dukes, you just a fan. I'm like, I was a Deion Sanders fan. I just Coach Prime is only 3 years in the game. So at the end of the day, like, they're two different people. I'm becoming a fan of Coach Prime, his coaching style, but I was a fan of Deion Sanders because of who he was in Atlanta and what he meant to the culture. And there are way more people in the world that support that part of him, and now they're coming to support the Colorado part of him. But they got to remember, this dude was an icon before he even started. Like, this dude is literally releasing some of the highest selling shoes in the country. Period.
Back.
Like, that's not even like, let's not like, there's nothing. So when you understand who he is and the amount of people who have been waiting on this press conference, if you want, and anybody can go do this, if you want to go find out why he moves the needle, if you want to find out why he needed to do a press conference, go look at any sports or any college football site or that does multiple teams and see where the spike is in viewership. It's Colorado. Like, it's not and nobody was a Colorado fan, like, not to this capacity, not to this level. He brought it. So at the end of the day, I just think I think he did it well. And I think that understanding who he is, I think sometimes people can be, and sometimes we like people to be unassuming and, play it low. And a lot of people say that, well, he doesn't believe in that. And I think he touches more people the way he plays it versus, making somebody else feel seen by shrinking himself. And I say this, man, my dad told me this at the beginning of the summer, and I thought it was so dope. But, man, you got to be careful because sometimes your light can produce shadows in other people. So when you look at what the sun does, I don't care where you at, a tree, if you walk in the sun, it produces a shadow. And so the same thing, your light can produce a shadow in other people, so it brings the darkness out. So you can't really, and I mean that figuratively, not literally. But
hey, that's a bar.
No, for sure. So yeah, man, I just think for Coach Prime, like, I think he did it well. But like you said, now we get to talk football.
Now we get to talk ball. Fall camp started Monday. We're chopping it up with our guy Dukes the Scoop over there, Dukes the Scoop here on YouTube. He's still the insider. He's still got the scoop. So make sure you go check him out. You can hear what's going down everywhere in college ball, as well as even with Colorado. Dukes, we are now fall camp. Monday it started. You're starting to see the videos come out. The propaganda machines are beginning or whatnot. So we're going to actually have to jump into the real of it. I want to talk the coaching staff. As you all know, new coaches came out. I dropped a video, yesterday of introducing the coaching staff, just so people are acclimated with the new faces, right? You got Coach Pecco. You've got, let me see who adds to the list, Gunnar White, Coach White, who's a new offensive line coach, which I thought that was a fascinating story. He came with Coach Prime from Jackson State. Like, Prime lives exactly what he said he wants to do. He wants to elevate people regardless. And so he's bringing people that show hard work. He is elevating them. Got appreciation for that. Marshall Faulk with the running game. You got him in running backs. Warren Sapp's getting a bigger role this year. Coach Pollock has got a bigger role now as a special teams coordinator. So, Dukes, I want to ask you, now that we're going into this new year, which coach do you feel like needs to have a jump from their room going into this season?
Man, I think you got to get a jump from Coach Gunnar White in the offensive line. I think you have to. I think it starts there. You got two quarterbacks that aren't going to have the same liberties that Shador had. Two quarterbacks that play different styles, and I think that it's going to be important for the offensive line to be able to adjust to both quarterbacks. Also, be able to roll grade from going to primarily pass setting last year to get down to more of a pin your ears back and go find somebody and hit somebody. I think it's a little bit different, and you didn't do a ton of that last year. And I think even more importantly, finding the 5 or finding the 7 that work, finding the 5 and the other 2, and once you got your 7, you could play. But I think understanding who those guys are. So, yeah, when you got a ton of talent, you got a ton of production, you got guys who may not have the production, but they have the pedigree, they have the size, they have the athleticism. That's a very interesting mix. And the only real lock I would say would be Jordan Seaton. And then after him, I would probably go Xavier Hill. He's showing up on draft boards now. So those two guys I would probably say are safer than anybody else. Safe. I would bet on those. None safer than Jordan Seaton, but you can't forget Xavier Hill, who was a all-conference performer coming from out of Memphis, and he's showing up as a 4th to 5th round pick right now on Blesto reports and pre-draft scouting reports. So I think he's going to be a guy that they're really high on. But outside of that, you got to find an offensive line, dog.
No, I agree with you there. And this, I was reading Phil Steele's book, and he was saying he feels like this is the best line that Colorado's had, probably more so with continuity as well as talent. And you're right, new quarterback, new scenario. It ain't going to be like Shador out there, just being able to sling it the way he does. We're waiting to see what these two dudes are able to do. You got a true freshman and then a veteran in Salter who's been around the block. He understands what to do, but at the same time, this is all new for everybody. And so having that offensive line is going to be critical. You're right. Got to have those 2 swing guys to go with your 5, so 7 total. For me, man, it's going to be Marshall Faulk. I think a lot of the pressure's on him. Like, it's funny because I was looking here at Coach Phillips, right? Wide receivers, 4 dudes go to the NFL. 3 of them get drafted, most in college football in NFL draft, and you add 1 more, gets signed. And now he's refreshing that room. Marion Miller's now healthy. So I'm thinking like, okay, Draylon's probably going to be that dude. We'll talk about him in a minute. But that running back room has just not given us the consistency needed to be successful. And as you pointed out, offensive line, the running back room's also going to have to add something to it because you're going to have to be able to run and pass, especially as you're trying to figure out who these quarterbacks are. So I think Marshall Faulk now has the one of the biggest tests on this team to show us something. And I saw that we got another coach though that joined us, and Byron Leftwich looks like he decided to show up day 1 for camp. Coach Prime mentioned he hopes he do the right thing. Coaching staff is stacked, man, but I think Marshall Faulk, it's going to be interesting to see what he does with that room.
Mm-hmm. No, I agree. I thought so I always say the guy who reminds me of him the most is Dallin Hayden, just size-wise and being able to be more of an all-purpose guy. But you got guys like, you got Trackhawk. You got what's my man? Michael Welch. Welch.
Welch. Yeah, Michael Welch is another good one. Yeah.
Yeah, man. He said he's like tackling a ball of knives. So I just think you got so many options. And I think you just got to find that right tempo, that right pace. And I think you're gonna play. I think they play 4 running backs this year. I think all 4 get meaningful touches. I just don't know who goes out there first. And I think they're gonna go with the hot hand until someone proves themselves to be a step ahead, a notch above everyone else. So, like you said, figuring out that running back room is gonna be important because I know they want to run the ball, and I know the goal is to have fresh legs in the 4th quarter. And I don't think one man can do it on their own.
Yeah, no, not at all. And shout out to Charlie Offerdahl. I saw that he decided to retire from football yesterday. That's prayers to him. Prime already said he's going to have his scholarship, and he's probably going to be involved with the team too. I'm assuming he's probably going to get into like a little grad assistant coaching type role. So shout out to him. He won't be one of the running backs we'll see out there running around, but no, like you said, they're probably going to rotate a lot of backs. I'm wondering who's going to be who can come in as the every down back. Can Trackhawk do that? Is it going to be Hayden? I know, like I said, Michael Welch is tough, 5'9", 215. It's a big ass back. So of course he's going to be a challenge, but who's going to be the one that's going to be trotted out first? I'm still leaning more Hayden, but man, I wouldn't be surprised if Trackhawk takes that from him.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just hard to say, right? I think depending on the scheme, when you talk about being able to run between the tackles, that's where I have a little pause about Trackhawk just based on size alone. But I just think as far as if you want to roll somebody out there that doesn't give a key to anything you want to do, if you see Michael Welch, you're probably thinking run between the tackles.
Yep.
You see Dallin Hayden, you can run outside zone, inside zone. You can throw the ball to him. He can pass protect. I think he's the guy who really encompasses the strengths of all the other running backs in the room. So I think he's probably your all-purpose guy. But depending on the scheme, if you want to run some outside zone, you got to go Trackhawk, somebody you can get into space and who's going to make somebody miss and have a chance to hit their head on the goalpost from a long way out. You would probably go with Trackhawk. And if you need somebody, we want to set the tone. We want to be bruising backs. That's what we want to do. I think you got to go with Michael Welch just to start. And the guy, did he come from Mississippi State? They just got the last running back.
Yes, Simeon Price as well as Christian Sarum. Okay. I think Sarum is the one that played in the SEC. Can't remember. Okay. But yeah, you got two more dudes that now you've got additional competition. So you're right. I can see them having a good battle where you're rotating four backs. Because Christian I think he's a senior. Let me look real quick. No, he's a junior, 6'2", 220. Jesus Christ, he's a big running back. That's a big boy. And then Simeon Price Senior, he's 6 foot 215. So yeah, no, you got plenty of options, but man, the question is who comes out and who does Marshall Faulk, Coach Faulk, get out there as their top guy. All right, now we got
and just to note on Simeon Price, like his freshman year, he played a lot at Mississippi State. I just had to jog my memory. He came from Coastal Carolina, but he started off at Mississippi State. He played a lot as a true freshman in the SEC, so he's got some pedigree to him as well.
Yeah, and so he knows how to play. So let's see if he steps up and becomes another option for Colorado. All right, defense, man. So questions are coming in, of course, is what defensive coordinator, Coach Livingston, what's it going to look like this year with this defense? The secondary, I've seen some fans on the socials, they got questions. They're wondering how this secondary is going to look now that Travis Hunter's no longer there, no longer that Colton Hood's gone. It's really on McKinney, who actually I've seen him on a few ballots as potentially, all Big 12 potential. Who's going to take over that second spot, and who do you think is going to be really doing some stuff at the corner position?
I think R.J. Johnson. I always say if you were to draw a corner, that's what you would want him to look like. He's got perfect size. He's a prototype corner. You saw him getting some extra instruction from Prime in the spring. It may have been a little bit of foreshadowing, and when Prime sees something in you, he feels like it's his responsibility to get it out. And I think that's what you'll continue to see with R.J. Johnson. So I think experience. I think he may be the guy. If the season started today, you had to play Georgia Tech tomorrow, he would probably be the guy that you trotted out there first. But I'm interested to see how Tion Parks plays at this level. We know he came from a smaller school, but man, he was so productive. A lot of teams wanted him, so I think it's going to be between those two for the other cornerback position.
Yeah, Tion Park is the one that's interesting to me. He feels like a sleeper. Came from Illinois State, comes from a small school, so I totally understand everybody's, I guess you could say, doubt about him. Because most fans doubt when a dude comes up from the next division and think, oh, okay, is he good enough to play? But at the same time, the Jared Verses of the world do exist, right? The Khalil Macks of the world do exist, where a dude they're so dominant down there, they move up and they're like, oh no, he's still that dude. He's still got the talent. So kind of makes sense that, all right, you probably do need to play up here. You shouldn't have been down there for as long as you were. Adding to that, the whole secondary to me, I think it's going to be fine this year. Actually, I think it'll be better in comparison. I mean, that's no shade to even, having like Travis out there. It's more of this secondary feels a lot more complete this year in comparison to last year. Like, you've got a dude at every spot, plus you've got somebody right there at the nickel as well. You're not breaking in quote unquote young players. It feels like there's more veteran presence to the secondary this year. So, man, I think Coach Mathis and them got something that they're working with, him and Coach Livingston. I feel like the secondary is probably going to be a borderline no-fly zone.
I mean, you got the pieces to do it. I think they have to play together. And I think what makes this secondary better is you've got more athleticism based on the pieces that you have in some of the roles. And I think that not just because somebody's faster, but you got size involved as well. When you think about like a guy like a Terrence Love, 6'2", I think he lost some weight. I think he's, he got down like around 200, 205, but he was playing at 215 at Auburn. But someone who's really transformed their body with the ability, with hopes of playing on top of being able to play the free. You got Carter Stoudemire, who's been very versatile. You got Taufik Bayard, who's someone else who a lot of people are excited about. So I think you'll see. I think your rotation at safety to start is probably going to be. It takes 3 to play. I think your 3 are some combination of Bayard, Stoudemire, and Terrence Love. But the guy that I think that people may be forgetting about that can really play is John Slaughter from Tennessee. I think he's a guy who played a lot of good football growing up. Someone who has the athleticism, and another guy. Those two Tennessee transfers were transfers that they didn't want to lose. So I think John Slaughter is somebody, as he gets acclimated and plays more and gets used to the system, he's going to be somebody that's going to help you this season.
Yeah, it's crazy when I'm looking at this roster on the defense. You're only bringing in 4 new bodies to actually play potentially for the entire defense, but majority of the roster is returning, which is dang good. Now, granted, Colorado did go get a whole bunch of transfers over the last few, so they brought in some transfers, but at the same time, man. Yeah, this defense is probably going to be turned up, especially when you look at the defensive line, man. So I think, is there any position on defense you have questions about going into fall camp that you hope get answered in the next few weeks?
I would say, who's your green dot linebacker? Who's the guy who calls it on defense? If you do green dot, because I think Silman Craig did a lot helping quarterback in that defense last year.
Agree.
But I would say, who's your quarterback? And I would think you would want a linebacker if you're having a reset. So what linebacker do you green dot as your quarterback? And I think that's one question I do have. I'm gonna tell you, like I think Sean Myers has a chance to play a lot, but I think you roll. I think I think he'll be in that 3. When you talk about guys who. When you talk about someone who has the ability just to fly downhill and is a really smart player, maybe not the athleticism of a Reggie Hughes or Martavius French, I think those two are your workhorses as far as sideline to sideline. You need somebody to make a play, being able to be in coverage, being able to take care of curl, flat, and hook zone. So I think those are your guys, but I think you need a quarterback. And I would say I just want to know who emerges as the quarterback of the defense.
Yeah, Martavius French was the one I was thinking about, but no, Sean Myers is very interesting. Now, one person I saw a video on the socials that hit not too long ago was Kylan Salter. Jesus Christ, that kid is huge. I didn't know that he was that big. Yeah. Like I kind of feel bad for Caden. Did Kylan take all the genes away from him? Like he didn't allow, he's like older brother, because that's what it is. It's the younger brother always comes in bigger, and then the next brother usually shows up even bigger. And it's like, Jesus. I saw the picture. I was like, I did not realize he was that huge of a human. But he's also only a redshirt sophomore, so
you got time.
He got some time. He may still an opportunity to come in and take somebody's spot. Maybe not. Yeah, exactly.
Just like I said about R.J. Johnson, man. If you want to draw a linebacker, there you go.
I think first. Yeah, he's one that you would draw. I mean, what, 6'2", 230? And I don't think he's 230. He looks like a little bit bigger than that. So he's right there at the prime spot to start to continue to grow and prepare to go to the NFL. Like that's about the size you want your NFL linebacker to come in at, 235, 240. And then of course they're going to balloon up depending on what type of defensive sets you have. If he's going to be a run stuffer, you may get him up to 250. If not, have him out there chasing running backs. Yeah, 230, 240. So, yeah, no, this defense is going to be intriguing this year. I think the biggest question I have is just how good this defensive line is going to be. But I think I like the green dot. That's one I'm going to have to investigate and figure out what the hell it's going to look like this year. All right, we got our guy Dukes the Scoop, man. I appreciate you pulling up. Let the people know where to find you and how they can get all your good content, man.
Man, follow me. You can put in Dukes the Scoop. My channel is The Scoop with Dukes on YouTube. So just The Scoop with Dukes, Dukes the Scoop, Scoop and Dukes. You'll find me.
You'll find me, man. You go live what days?
Yeah, usually Mondays for sure. And then and you just subscribe, and you might catch me on a Tuesday. You might catch me on a Friday. Who knows? Just just subscribe, and you never know. We always have a good time. And when I go live, it's more so just like kicking it. Like is not as football based. We talk some Colorado, talk some Auburn, talk some Falcons, talk whatever you want to talk about. So, but it's always a good time just to get in, decompress, and have a conversation like you're in the barbershop from the comfort of your own home.
And they're just talking ball, man. It's a good time. So make sure y'all pull up, hit the like, subscribe, bell notification. That way you don't miss any of those. And we'll chop it up soon, folks.